When they say, how good was Grandad when racing pigeons? And the grandma can say, oh, he wasn't bad. Look at these. I can't tell you, Ivan, how much they've taught me over the years. Looking back, I think, yeah, shit, I forgot that. And it's funny because when you read the books, certain times of the year, same things happen. So I'm going to show you my books. I call them my diaries. So for every single year I've raised pigeons here, I have a book for every single year. So right back to 1994, I have a book for every year. So, and the reason why I did it, because when I have a good year with the pigeons earlier, and the following year I was asking myself, this time last year, what were the pigeons doing? What was I actually feeding them? How long were they flying for? And obviously you remember a lot, but you don't remember them small things 1 year later. And I really wanted to know what they were doing, because then if I had a good year that year before, then I could gauge if the pigeons are flying longer now than what it was this time last year. Maybe I have to just maybe I'm doing too much. If they're not flying as much or they're sluggish, they're like maybe only flying for 20 minutes. And this time last year they were doing like 50 minutes. Then I know I have to push, I have to make them do a bit more. I get the football out, kick the football. But these books tell me everything. Because every single time I let pigeons out of the loft, even for a fly around home. So in the early part of the year you'll see March. Absolute lovely morning, wall to wall sunshine, the cocks and hens were out. They flew okay, young birds went out for 1.5 hours. So it's telling me what they're doing. And then as the season progresses, I started saying when I took my first training toss, how they were flying around the home. Then further in you'll see on a page how I was feeding them. And then every Friday, I will write underneath the Friday what work they've had that week. And then I'll do a report on the race from the Saturday to see how I can relate, how much they did. And every year I can go back. When I'm watching the pigeons, I write in the book what I feed, how long they've trained for, if I trained by the car, what the wind was, how cold it was. And that gives me a real clear picture of what kind of condition the pigeons are in at that time of year. And the following year might be a totally different year. It might be much warmer, so they're going to be doing different things. So then I will go and find a book from when it was warmer and ask myself what were they doing that year, maybe 4 years ago. And I will know exactly what I was feeding, exactly how long they were flying, how long it was taking them to come back from training. And I'll replicate that this year. Because especially if that was a good year, then I know, I'm not guessing. I know where they should be and what they should be doing to get success. So I don't leave anything to chance. Even now after 40 years with pigeons, you know your routine. But they really are.
Details you forget.
I can't tell you, Ivan, how much they've taught me over the years. Looking back, I think, yeah, shit, I forgot that. And then I do it again. So they really have a good reminder. And it really lets you know every pigeon individually, because if a pigeon comes back late, I'll write his ring number down. It might not be a bad pigeon, but it's not good enough for here. It doesn't fit into my system. Because not every pigeon, they don't all adapt to my system 2 times a day in the car. They don't all have it. But you can give them to the people and they're super pigeons, but not for me. But if I medicate, I will say in this book, I medicated, what I medicated for, why I medicated, what I see. If they're looking a bit loose on the feather, they want tight, I think maybe they have a little bit of canker. So I'll canker them, and I will say, result is, after canker, much tighter, brighter faces, brighter eyes. So then I know I needed it. So that's observation, you see it. I will treat sometimes for respiratory because I will see when they land that they're thick in their heads and you see the snot coming out. Then I know okay, they have a little bit of microplasmosis. So then I see the vet at P. Blanco and I get a product from him. I swab them, he will make a product, then I treat. So I don't treat blind. I only treat when I see something. And over the years, you see the same things coming. So now I've learned I can have that on the shelf. So when I see it, I don't need to go to the vet now. I know it's coming. Give it. And it's funny because when you read the books, certain times of the year, same things happen. When you move the youngsters, early in the year, the first round of youngsters, from your race team, I remove all the hens at 15 days. I leave every youngster with the cock. And the cock cleans up and flies much better. Well, the hens really suffer because they're paying to get back with the youngsters. And the cancock count comes really high on them. So I've learned from the books, the condition drops on the hens. So canker them then. It really helps them. So the books teach me a lot. And they are invaluable. So I'll look at the date. So the hens have been training to Stafford. So this is the old bird season now. So the youngsters are just going out. My youngsters notoriously late for getting up into the sky. So we're talking now, where are we? What dates? 17th of April. So for me that's quite early. And yet the first round of youngsters get up and are batching. They don't fly for long, about 15 minutes, but they get more and more confident all the time. So again, they're molting well, they're looking, so everything is detailed. How they're looking, how they're flying, how they're molting. So I know, yeah, this next year I'm on course for that year, so everything's good. And if something bad happens this year, I can look back and see, okay, maybe that was the reason, and make sure you don't do it again. And I also write my youngsters at couple. Any youngsters at couple, because I know they're coupled, but when I come to couple them as yearlings, after they split over, and I think, which one was coupled to what? And I can't remember all of them. So it's much easier to put them back together, especially yearlings, how they fight. They already know each other, they already picked each other out for a reason. So they're loved couples. So I always put them back again as yearlings. Because there's a reason why they chose each other.
If it is a nest brother or nest sister.
Yeah, well, if I lose one, then I have to choose another hen. But when I can, even if they're nest mates, I don't care, I just don't breed from them. I learn the couple. So I think they chose each other for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
Final PIPA choices. Is that 2017?
Are you going to North today as well?
Yeah, I couldn't train my youngsters because PIPA was here for too long.
Couldn't feed them on time.
No, late feeding because PIPA was here.